Hello, I'm happy to present our work on user needs for advertising controls on Facebook. To provide a bit of background, Facebook has a lot of advertising controls. At the time of our study, we counted 36 of them. They're mostly located in the contextual menus on ads themselves and inside the ad preferences and off Facebook activity settings menus. We wanted to know if these controls really align with what users want and need. To do so, we conducted a two-part study consisting of an online survey and a virtual lab study. Given that Facebook has so many ad-related controls, we first wanted to identify in our survey which would be the most interesting for further study. Our survey included 28 questions related to participants' attitudes towards Facebook ads and ad customization, their current behaviors with regards to how they use Facebook and available ad controls, and perceived limitations of current Facebook settings. We collected over 150 responses from Mechanical Turk and Prolific from US-based Facebook users. Our sample skewed slightly male and mostly identified as white. The mean age of our sample was 34. Most participants use Facebook daily, and almost all of them said that they use Facebook weekly. The largest proportion of our participants felt negatively about ads. Most commonly, these negative feelings were because participants felt that ads were annoying, or they had some concern about how ads were targeted towards them, or found them creepy overall. We asked participants if they'd ever seen an ad that they didn't want to see, and 44 said that they had. Most commonly, they either didn't take any explicit action related to the ad, or they clicked the hide ad in the contextual menu. Only one person said that they went to the ad preferences page to change their settings. Overall, about 1 in 5 participants could recognize the ad preferences page and recalled having used it before, but most participants couldn't remember what they did when they were there. Most participants also reported attempting to control ads on the internet in other ways, such as using an ad blocker. We asked participants to describe anything they wanted to control or change related to advertising on Facebook, but hadn't yet figured out how to do. And some of the things they described were actual available controls, such as being able to adjust interests used to target to them, the use of third-party data, and being able to hide specific ads. Other things they described weren't available controls, such as being able to decrease the number of ads or remove ads altogether, controls related to moderation or quality of the ads that were displayed, and other broader ways of controlling targeting completely. Our survey provided several insights for our lab study. The first is that users do want ads that are relevant to them, but that needs to be balanced with privacy concerns. The second is that Facebook has many options related to ads that users seem to want, but they may not have yet discovered. And third is that even those who have used available controls may not fully understand what they do. We further explored a subset of available ad controls in a virtual lab study. To anchor our discussion of available controls, we designed a set of study tasks that required using available controls that varied in two regards: usage and desirability, as reported in our survey. The hide ad control in the contextual menu was a control that had both high usage and high desirability. Another two controls related to data collected from off of Facebook and had high desirability but low reported usage. A third control related to advertising lists, which had both low desirability and usage, but past work has identified that there's low awareness of this ad targeting practice, and thus we thought it would be interesting to explore more deeply. We also included a task to more directly explore the discoverability of the ad preferences page, as that is where most ad controls are centrally located. For our virtual lab study, we recruited English-speaking adult Facebook users based in the US from Craigslist. Sessions were held over Zoom using participants' own Facebook accounts, and participants were compensated $25. The median length of sessions was 61 minutes. Each session consisted of a pre-task interview, a study task, which we divided into two groups, and a post-task interview. We conducted 25 sessions from October 2020 to January 2021. We used a screening survey to recruit a diverse sample, including those with a mix of technical knowledge as well as a mix of mobile and desktop users. Almost all of our participants use Facebook daily. We conducted a thematic analysis of participants' perceptions and behaviors related to data collection on Facebook, their opinions and understanding of ads, and past experiences with ads and ad controls. We also analyzed participants' perceptions of the utility and usability of the controls that they used in the study tasks. In addition to the qualitative data, we recorded participants' ability to find the task-related control without aid, the time it took to find that control, whether participants recognized that the control was related to the task, as well as the pages and menus visited during the task. Here we want to highlight some results that demonstrate that just offering different choices is not enough. Usability testing plays an important role in understanding what types of privacy controls are actually wanted and needed. For example, we found that some ad preferences controls were better understood than others. Controls that were specific to ads, advertisers, or information used in ad targeting were better comprehended than general controls related to the collection of data. We found that the ad topics menu, which allowed users to see fewer of 4 predefined categories, was not well understood. Participants were confused as to how these 4 categories were chosen. Our study also identified 4 user groupings related to the ad experience. One group, which we called the privacy concern, felt that ads were creepy and exhibited a high level of engagement with controls. Their primary goals were to prevent tracking and achieve less personalization. Another group, which we called the advertising irritated, felt that ads were annoying. They had some level of engagement with controls, but they primarily wanted to see fewer ads and stop repetitive ads. A third group, which we called the advertising disengaged, had expressed a resigned acceptance of ads and mostly ignored them. This group exhibited low engagement with controls and had various goals related to their advertising experience. And the last group, which we call the advertising curators, felt that ads were sometimes helpful and also had a high engagement with controls, mostly to achieve more personalization. Based on our results, we discussed whether current Facebook ad controls meet user needs, and the answer is yes and no. For the advertising curators and irritated, controls for specific interest categories, advertisers, and ads do somewhat align with their objectives. However, we think that the ad topics could be better designed to meet their goals. Interestingly, Facebook recently redesigned ad topics to be more in line with what our participants expected, that the categories selected for that menu were based on their inferred interests instead of pre-selected. For the privacy concern and ad disengaged, current controls don't meet their needs as much. The off-Facebook activity menu does prevent some cross-platform sharing, but doesn't turn it off completely. Furthermore, most controls are related to the use of third-party data and not the collection of it to begin with. I'd like to end with a few takeaways from our study. The first is that existing Facebook ad controls may have a discoverability issue. Second, some controls are better understood than others. Specifically, controls related to cross-platform data sharing were confusing. And last, we identified 4 user groups with varying needs related to the advertising experience. Thank you for watching today. Please feel free to reach out with any questions.